flag, green flag.
It's a different story on the front row with Waters and Randall from Mostert and Di Pasquale. It's Supercars Fight Night in Sydney and the clutches are dropped. Randall makes a beautiful jump on the outside. Is it enough to close over the front of his teammate? They are side by side through turn one and they've opened a margin already to Chaz Mostert. Thomas has done a brilliant job to be able to get on with it in the second part of the corner, and Randall will lead them in the Castrol entry to turn two. Lock brakes in the background and Macaulay Jones off, Winterbottom off as well. Exactly what we were talking about pre-race.
He may have got a bump there, Macaulay Jones, because there was some tyre squealing before those two cars fired off the outside there. I was going to say Thomas Randall was a bit too gentlemanly at turn one on the turn-in, but he was nice off turn one and commands the lead.
Wild scene down there at turn two. We'll try and understand that story for you as Waters offers up the nose on the inside to see whether he can have a peep at his teammate. 2 by 2 through turn six. Closest to camera there in the Bendix car was Nick Percat. Randall, Waters, Mostert, Di Pasquale, Davison, 1 through 5. Remember, cold tyres at this stage, real easy to lock a brake. But it also a great opportunity early in the race to make hay if a gap appears anywhere, and they are well and truly aware of that. Exit turn 8 out of the slowest corner on the racetrack. Up into this highly complex right then left through 9 and 10. Randall's got a little margin of just over 1/3 of a second. They've already started to get an appreciation of what the cars feel like for this evening. Randall over Waters, then Mostert, then Di Pasquale and Davison. Now, here's some of the story. Okay, so Macaulay is literally just a victim in the process there. So that was very strange for Frosty, whatever was going on there. On board here with Waters.
So right here, I thought that Thomas was too gentlemanly. And then right about now, he did a really nice job to contain the slide and was able to maintain P1.
And for Thomas, you're blindsided out there. You can't really see where Cam is. You can half hear him. You might get a glimpse of colour. And he was on the slide out there on a cold tyre. How's this for a replay? So gigantic lock-up and a veer to the right for Winterbottom. Clean bowls Macaulay Jones. And here's another angle of it down here on the approach run into turn two. Thumping shunt into the left-hand corner of the Pizza Hut car.
And it looked like Frosty had to over-brake at that point because he was going to run into the back of Andre Heimgartner.
Does Mostert get some benefit from the slip? He was very close through the final corner. Randall's got a 0.8 of a second margin here. So Chaz is incentivised. He knows the value of being able to try and get away from the dirty air that Mark Larkham described very accurately pre-race, to try and get out of the halo of all of the heat that preceding car's generating, which of all the things that it's doing, it's hurting the front tyres most on car 25. So Mostert knows how important it'll be to try and clear him if he's able. And this is relighting the battle that we thoroughly enjoyed on the Saturday in Townsville.
It certainly is. They race very hard, but they race fair. And it does look like Mostert just got a little bit of pace on him. But what's also happened is that the Mostert pressure has energised Cam to lift his pace and get closer to Randall.
Does this also create another opportunity under brakes down here at turn two? He's getting the benefit of the draft all the way down the front straight. Last lap speed caller was a 33.1 for Randall. They're back to 33.7 for Waters, 33.5 for Mostert, 3.5 for Di Pasquale. Is he close enough to have a peep down the inside? There were several moments on that last lap where he could have had a little look, and he's done it again down here. Now, does Cam end up high and wide? He gets the nose up on the inside, but the problem is he's on the wrong side of the road for the right-hander at 3. Now he'll try the crisscross. Can he get back down the inside over the top of the tunnel down here into turn 4? And he stays with it, but doesn't quite get there as Waters closes that door.
I thought he was down there then. Now this will be also another crisscross move because he's come off 5 with a little bit of a run. He's going to run now and down the inside of turn 6. Good authoritative move alongside each other. Just shifts him wide enough out to that exit curb, and that'll take the spot before turn 7.
Impressive exchange. And if you looked at that in replay and freeze the cars on the exit of turn 6, Chaz had him squeezed as far as he could, but he gave him one car width on the outside, and Waters had the right-hand side of the car on the top of the curve, and there was nothing much he could do. So that was a fantastic battle between those two, indicative of what we've seen from them recently.
There's Randall and Mostert.
Our race leader, and he's being shadowed. Now, one of the Red Bull cars has dived in the background here as well, and that leaves Waters in control.
Very clean run in.
He needs a nice clean lap, Cam Waters, none of that sliding.
Very clear run in. On the board.
Good opening stint for Randall.
Yeah, excellent. 34.6, 34.6, 34.6, front 3 cars.
That's a bright, shiny, brand new tyre going on the right rear.
On fuel, on the fuel. Go. Get out, go on, mate, get out. Bring a little bit.
Jumped in. Mostert's out in front of Randall.
Now, that may be, we'll have to work that out for what fuel load went on. That's almost exactly 4 seconds less fuel for Mostert versus Randall. He'll pay for that later.
Couldn't see any changes for Waters.
Oh, this is going to be close.
Get behind.
And Waters has had to drop in behind Will Davison. And Will Brown on departure there as well. Also in the lane, Andre on departure now. So Matt Payne, Cam Hill, Bryce Fullwood, Macaulay Jones, 4 cars yet to stop contact in the lane. What was all that about? So Heimgartner and LeBrock making contact.
Head down.
So they'll have a look at that up in race control to determine whether or not there was any unsafe release involved in that.
All attention all teams, the stewards have imposed a 15-second time penalty to car 9 for an unsafe pit release.
So this is going to be intriguing because the 1 stoppers are now, but in 2 laps, the 3 stoppers are.
It's an ice cream headache.
It
The long
is.
stop, you can plug neutral for me.
Cam Hill's the race leader.
Turn it in now. Stop it on the marks for me, mate.
They are making a change to give him more turn. Little ride height change.
Yeah, or a bit of spring preload, a little bit of...
This is Feeney plunging down the inside of Waters, who's now mispositioned on the exit of turn 1. So that looked like it was pretty spooky. So they've made a ride height change to Matty's car. They've covered it with fuel.
Clear in the air. You have 4 cold green tyres. Be ready for it to drop now, mate. It's over 20 now, so just be ready for it to drop. Be ready. All clear. All clear.
Under-fueled early to get track position. Remember, that was the difference between his fuel load. He was 4 seconds under what Randall put on at the first stop.
18 laps remain. Thomas Randall's got the lead of the race. Slightly different strategy played to Chaz Mostert.
Those fresh tyres on the back of Mostert's car, he's put them to real effect because he just did his fastest lap on the last lap, a 31.56. On that lap, he was 1.2 seconds faster than Matt Payne.
Which is
so the
all
story,
he needs to do.
That's exactly. So the story of this race is Mostert sprinting, Payne being conservative, trying to get himself home with 11.5 seconds.
13 to go. 13 to
Currently
go.
the gap, 13 to go. 1.8 seconds.
Here's the gap.
Towards restrict flag to car 88 for exceeding track limits.
Brock Feeney getting a little warning for exceeding track limits. Race control in the background. That's our margin first to second. That man's been told don't waste any energy on this battle. His lap time last time through was 1.3 seconds slower than Chaz Mostert, the car in the background. And it is now 1.3 seconds the gap first to second. So he is going to get him right to him on this lap as the math was projected from a while ago with 5 to go. And he's just got to find a neat way through. But the important margin that they're asking Matt to manage now is the gap back to Thomas Randall in 3rd position. And that's 9.4 seconds at the moment.
And with the bad sportsmanship flag for Randall, he's also got to be conservative on the exit of 5 and the exit of 8. So that's going to play into Matt Payne's hands for Randall to be a little conservative on the exit of those 2 corners.
Who's looking for his first podium of 24, Thomas Randall. So there's a bit to play for him. Respective squads, Penrite Racing, Motor One Optus Racing, Sam Scafidi on the left, Jack Bell on the right. There's the team owner for Grove Racing, Stephen Grove, in the background. And here's the margin at the top of screen, which now is next to nothing between first and second. Inky black sky in the background in Sydney. Crisp, cold, and windy night in Sydney. 4 laps remaining, 0.6 of a second. Sam Scafidi on the radio just informing his driver, Chaz Mostert, of the situation. You can see that he's able to hold tighter lines. He's going to be right with him by the time they get to the end of turn 2 down here. And Matty's up high and wide. A long way around the outside down there at turn 2. Chaz is right with him and try and hunt him down on the inside here. Under brakes into turn 3, over the top of the hill. See whether or not he can pull the dive. He decides not to. Stays tucked under the rear wing. Up and over the rise of the road where the camber changes and tends to make the car want to slide out the other side. Shallow on the exit of turn 5. Now thinks about hunting him down on the inside. Pulls second gear, gets it done cleanly. Matt does exactly as he was instructed. Don't waste time in that battle. And that is our new race leader, Chaz Mostert.
And that's his favourite spot. That was the spot that he put the move on Cam Waters. And the same move applied to Matt Payne for the lead of this race.
And we've got some issues, unfortunately, for Jack LeBrock.
Yeah,
Marshall's, Marshall's reporting flames evident with that car. It's got a pretty significant oil leak, it looks like. Unfortunately, down in 18th position. 4 laps remaining. And belching smoke on the run out of turn 8, so that doesn't look healthy at all. Mostert, meantime, off and disappearing in the lead. The margin between Payne and Randall is 6 seconds. We've got 1 lap remaining, and it's a 2.5 second margin between Payne and Randall in the open questions surrounding position number 2 and 3 in the field. Meantime, this fellow who was on the podium last time out in Townsville, Chaz Mostert, stacking on the points in his quest to try and get in touch with the leading bunch. He came to this event this weekend 174 points adrift from Will Brown, our championship leader. And he's only got half a lap remaining now on what has been a great exhibition from him this evening. Driven intelligently, looked after the tyres, strategy players worked out nicely. It's interesting, it kept us all guessing though to really only a few laps from home. So really 5 laps from home in a 51 lap race. So it's a pretty knife edge play as to which may have worked. And of course tomorrow you add sunshine, which will change the complexion of the storytelling again. Down into the hairpin right-hander now for the final time for Chaz Mostert. Parks the car in the middle of the road through that slowest corner on the racetrack. Doesn't slide it on exit. Got it all well and truly in hand. He's going to get the cookies at the end of this one. Important batch of points for him in the quest to throw punches at those at the top end of town in the championship battle. The Red Bull Ampol Racing team, who've occupied first and second for quite some time. Out of the final corner now, race number 15 of the championship after great driving and a wonderful strategy play. Chaz Mostert for the Motor One Optus Mustang.
That is awesome. That is bloody awesome.
Happiness all round.
Great well drive.
Now what about the battle for second? Payne gets there. Payne gets there in the end from Randall. And well done, Matt Payne.
Yep.
Congratulations to that group at Penrite Racing for a fine, fine effort. Race results confirming those for you now. Mostert over Payne and Randall. That is our podium for this evening for our 15th race of the championship season. Followed then by Will Davis and Anton De Pasquale. Will Brown, championship leader. Cam Waters, who'll be frustrated somewhat by being back in 7th position from Nick Percat, Brock Feeney, and last year's champion Brodie Kostecki, position number 10. Cam Hill, not quite getting there in the end, but still a solid result and a big climb forward from his qualifying position from Heimgartner. Further beyond him, Ryan Wood, James Golding, Tim Slade, Richie Stanaway, David Reynolds, who had a couple of moments during the race from Jackson Evans, Bryce Forward, Macaulay Jones, James Courtney, and then Lockie Dalton, Aaron Love, Jack LeBrock. Unfortunately, a tough evening for Mark Winterbottom.
So let's have a look at how this all shakes out in terms of the championship picture. And Will Brown has actually extended his championship lead slightly over his teammate to back out to nearly 100 points. But Chaz Mostert is closing. He's taken just about 50 points out of the championship leader so far. So that has definitely closed up towards the top. Matt Payne holds his spot inside the top 5. So no positions have changed inside the top 5, but it's definitely closing at the moment. Jack LeBrock, sadly, with no points today, has gone diving out of the top 10. To the team's championship, Shelby Power Racing having a pretty good day with a couple of cars inside the top 5. So they have moved in to contention to get themselves up towards Penrite Racing with just the one car inside the 10 today. But that fight for second in the team's championship, so close between Walkinshaw and Andretti United, Monster Castro Racing, that's Tickford. Penrite Racing are right there as well, although they've lost a little bit of ground today, with Richie Stanaway being down in 16th position. But intriguing for that fight for the second garage. Red Bull Ampol Racing obviously doing a nice job with a handsome lead, which will not be going anywhere before Tasmania at the very least.